Now, it's pretty well known that a lot of people collect Spirit Halloween animatronics for their in-home displays or their outdoor displays for like Halloween night, but it always leads to the same well-known question of whether filler animatronics or centerpiece style animatronics are the more important purchase. And in today's video, that is quite literally what I will be going over. Now, of course, there is a huge difference between the two. Centerpieces are the main attention grab to a haunt display. They're the reason that people come by, they see it's the first thing that they see, and then they usually end up running by. This is what completes the haunt, this is what people see first, and it is usually one of the most coolest or biggest animatronics that someone has. That's usually how a centerpiece works. It's usually the biggest, coolest concept, or just overall most detailed animatronic that someone possibly has in their Halloween display. But then of course there are filler props, which usually tend to be smaller props or ones that are not fully life-sized that people don't usually see on their first trip or first look at your haunt, but end up seeing it after a few minutes or a few seconds, depending on how it is displayed or set. Now, these things are usually with a little bit of detail, but it's not too paid attention to, as it is not the attention grab to a haunt, but definitely a lot of people do love the fillers because it helps fill in gaps. As for these two here, this one retails at $339.99 Canadian, and then this one, if I'm correct, is also the same at $339.99 Canadian. Now, those two being extremely high in cost, but also very paid attention to in detail, and then audio and all of that. Now, they are definitely more paid attention to and definitely more thought out in the concept, but the price, like I said, definitely does play a huge part in whether they are more important or not. Because on the other hand, the Bag of Bones, which is that one right there, has a retail price of, if I'm pretty sure, $179.99 or $189.99. As for the Thrashing Zombie way back in the day, I don't even know the exact price for. Surely not anything over $200 or $150. Now, that is why a lot of people end up grabbing fillers, because they're the more affordable purchase, but definitely if just bought, it can definitely have a lot of gaps or definitely have a lot of non-complete sections to someone's haunt. Now, just saying which one is more important is almost quite literally impossible, as you can't just have centerpieces and you can't just have filler props. Now, for example, for a lot of haunt builds out there, like I'll just use mine for example, I use Grimm as my centerpiece, and then I ended up using things like Electrified Corpse and a lot of other smaller props for fillers. Now, I know the beginning of the video almost makes it seem like I'm talking about which one is more important, but in the end of the day, they are both equally as important. You evidently can't just have filler props like Thrashing Zombie and Bag of Bones, but you also can't just have centerpieces in your display like Grimm or Mr. Dark. So I guess you could say almost the point of the video is that you got to get an equal amount of centerpiece animatronics as you do for fillers. Now, I know a lot of people's first initial thoughts is just that they'll either get a filler or they'll just get centerpieces, as centerpieces are cool but pricey, and then fillers are cheap but not as detailed and can't really complete a theme in itself. Now, of course, you could try, you could just use centerpieces and you could just use fillers, but is that really a good haunt? Because I feel like you need to have both in order to really complete a display. For example, what I like to talk about is the fact that I use a lawn and a garage for my displays on Halloween, and I could fill up the lawn with just filler animatronics, and I could just fill up the garage with centerpiece animatronics, but it's really not going to feel complete. You can have just fillers in the garage, but it's really not going to look right. And you could just have centerpieces that are huge and detailed in your lawn, but that's again not going to look proper. What I'm trying to get at is they have their equal importance, and there's not really one that I can say is more important. A lot of people immediately try to lean towards that centerpieces are more important just because of the attention to detail and how majority of them are life-size like animatronics. But then a lot of people that are new to collecting like to say that the fillers do just fine because they're the more affordable type. Now, in the end of the day, I really can't say which one is more important. Fillers are equally as important as centerpieces, and you can't just have one or the other. And majority of the time, an equal amount of both in order for your prop display to look proper. So I guess you could say the moral of this video is just to buy one centerpiece and one filler to start off your display and then go from there. Now don't just start with only fillers and don't just start with only centerpieces. Go with an equal amount of both and see where you can take your Halloween display further. Now, of course, decorations and such like that are not animatronics are also very, very important, but I just wanted to go over animatronics because I know that a lot of people on this channel watch this channel strictly for Spirit Halloween animatronic related videos. Now, of course, decorations are also as important. You can't have a display without tombstones, and you can't have a display without lights, so a lot of that stuff is also very, very important. But talking strictly about animatronics, you can't just have one or the other. You have to have both. Now, I hope that helped sum up the importance of filler animatronics and centerpiece animatronics, because it's not good to just have one, and I definitely feel like I've said that many times, but I'm just trying to address it to help anyone get out of a rut trying to figure out if they should just get fillers or just get centerpieces. I would definitely get yourself at least one of each and then go from there and then see where your haunt build takes you. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you want to. It's completely your choice. And remember, Halloween is everywhere. Goodbye, guys.